and the certifications and accomplishments of staff towards the end of this, that I encourage you to look through. And then, as you have time on your own, because I know it's riveting reading, give us some feedback. Like, the information is good, the information is a waste of time, because staff spent a lot of time collecting this data, and I wanna make sure that it's valuable and useful to you. And if there's something in here that you don't see that you would like to see, go ahead and give me that feedback. Let's see, staff, do y'all have anything in here that you would particularly like to point out? They're gonna go silent on me. These people talk all the time. All right, and certainly if you have any questions about the data presented, let us know, because like I said, it's a draft. We're still trying to make it into an informational, usable document, so. All right, if we're good with that, we're gonna go through, let me back up a little bit. I want feedback on the whole process. I don't wanna end up giving you guys information that is boring or unuseful. So what we're gonna do today, each department is gonna go through their responsibilities, high level, their current work plan, and their 26-27 needs and goals. So that is probably gonna take the bulk of our time. Feel free to ask them questions. Don't hesitate to stop them as we're going through these things. And then that's probably gonna take the bulk of our time. So we'll start. I think I'm first. All right, so you can see my responsibilities there: administering policies established by city council and by law, pushing out procedures, coordinating, directing the departments, utilizing staff appropriately to supervise projects, city finance, and intergovernmental relationships. Main responsibilities. My current work plan, we need to finish up some things. We've kind of slow rolled for one reason or another. We gotta finish up the downtown drainage with Merchants Bonding Company. That's in the legal process. It is slow. It's just really at a creep, but we would love to finish that up this year. A lot of the speed is not in our control, but as long as we're on top of it, that's what we wanna do. We negotiated a deal with the navigation district to finish the Concho Street drainage. I don't know how long that's languished. It's been before my time. So we finally got a deal this year. We need to start implementing the processes and steps of the deal, which we are, and that's working with the county, the navigation district, and ourselves. And I'm really quite proud of the fact that we got something there without having to go through any legal processes. There's still more to it, but we'll get there. We need to set up our TERS board. We don't have interlocal agreements with the county and the navigation district yet. The county wasn't comfortable with, the county has switched attorneys mid-race, and the new attorney had some things that they wanted to add. So we're gonna slow that down, make sure the county's comfortable with it. We still have to work forward, and it does not behoove us for any entity to remove themselves with that. So it's more important to be comfortable with it than to rush it, because there's no hurry, there's no project on the line right now. So there's probably a lot of hubbub about nothing's happening. It's happening. It's just in different courts. And like I said, speed isn't of the essence, or time isn't of the essence right now. So all of our interlocal agreements are pretty much in effect, but very old. So, you know, everybody's working on a piece of paper that someone, you know, signed over the counter in 1990. And we need to clean those up and make sure everybody's protected and getting what they need out of all of our interlocal agreements. Leadership strategic plan, we work through that a lot. We want to keep it going. We'll update it. Finish City Hall. Miss Henry is going to make sure that happens, so I'm not in the least concerned about that. Water Solutions Committee, the next two, and a little bit another one, are where I need to focus my time this year. So I'm gonna pull Miss Henry back into the Assistant Two role as soon as we get someone hired in planning and directing, because I need to get more involved in the water solutions. There's several committees that are meeting that are taking up a lot of my time, and I need to be available for those. And we need to increase our state involvement at the legislative level. As we found out last session, there's a lot going on that affects us, and we want to be sure we have a say in it. Just because we're little doesn't mean we can't have a voice, so I need to pour a lot of time into that. And then the one thing that's not listed up here that I really need to pour a lot of time into is community relations. We spend a lot of time behind the desk trying to get things done, and I need to get out more, and get involved in more things going on in the community, and that's where I'm gonna need Kimberly's help. So that's my work plan broadly. Who's running the mouse? Okay. The only thing I would ask for is increase the travel and training line. Um, like I said, I need to be getting out more. There's a lot of state things going on that I would like to attend. And when I say a lot, I'm saying, 3, 4 maybe. So just some more travel budget. Focus, last year, my staff focus was customer service, and I think we knocked it out of the park. I couldn't be prouder of the work that these guys have done. I mean, we do get a disgruntled customer every now and then, but if you ever want to see how we work, walk up to the ladies in utility billing and tell them you have a problem and see how effective they are at their customer service and their solution skills. And that's pretty much across the board, and I'm really proud of what they've done. I want to do an efficiency study. We're going to sit down this year with each, during the budget process. We'll sit down with each department and talk about their spending and making sure that we haven't succumbed to budget creep in any line items. So we'll be doing that in April with each department head, or May. Go in line by line, but I also want to talk with each, the next coming year. I don't want a formal efficiency study, but I want to go through each department with a fine-tooth comb. Why is everybody doing what they're doing? How did they become to do that? And is that the appropriate role for them? We kind of did that with our salary survey, but that was pretty rushed, and I'd like to get into a more in-depth level. And then, of course, our leadership focus this year is, that's 26, 27. I'm sorry. That's in the wrong spot, but our focus this year is interdepartmental communications. So to make sure that we're doing that effectively. Is that it? Okay. So you have to hear what I just said from every department. They're more exciting. So.
Okay, so I'm up next, and my responsibilities, as you know, are mainly laid out in the city charter. There's state and federal regulations that I have to follow on behalf of the city. I broke mine down into different categories. My legislative update duties, and you can see what all it entails. Administrative duties, they are everything from legal notices, proclamations, council relations. There is also assisting with making sure that your goals that you want to achieve are met. I also have community and social duties, which include engaging with the public speaking. I have ethical and professional duties, and most city secretaries are considered the gateway to the city. They're usually, besides the ladies in utility billing, they're usually one of the first contacts that the public has with the city. And I think it's because of the title, because everybody thinks I'm their secretary, and everybody else's secretary too. So, and I have to be an agent of change because of technology, legislation, and other factors. So my current work duties, again, or what I'm working on now, are legislative duties, being part of the legislative city team, records management, Laserfish project, civic engagement project, communications, press release, website, social media. And of course, a lot of this is being helped. Reagan is also helping me with a lot of this. Putting Rockport in the spotlight, providing training. Hotel occupancy tax program, that's the grant program. And promoting ideas to assist with transparency, education, more cost-effective and efficient ways of doing business. So my budget needs are, right now I share Reagan with Vanessa. So I'm really looking, if I could, for a full-time person, which would be an assistant city secretary. And then that would create additional training needs, funds to help stay in compliance. I'm asking for just FOIA. It would be used for open records request. It would be used for, we can use it for hot funds. We can use it for other things as well. While the police department handles their own open records request, we get to handle everyone else's. So, and then for the website, I'm asking for, or for communications, I'm asking for a website upgrade. This city app, civic engagement, additional funds. And then my goals for next year are to complete the Laserfish program. I'm working with Nanette right now. We are totally revamping the whole HOT grant program. Find better ways of communications with customer, both in-house and in public. Creating a cleaner and user-friendly website. Maintaining my current responsibilities and assist anyone wherever is needed. Ensure city remains in compliance. Be open to change. Maintain the city secretary office plan. I give y'all a 5-year plan for the city secretary's office, so I would like to continue to maintain that and to build on each year, keeping those promises. And then we need to review all city ordinances and make sure there's no conflicts and that kind of information.
I'd like to jump in and say when Shelley asks for more civic engagement funds, she does all the stuff like the Hooked on Rockport. We do monthly Hooked on gifts for some members of the community that have done specific things every month. We have a theme every month. We give them a little gift. All the announcements that go out, the flyers that go out, basically the bulk of our publications, those all come out of Shelley's office. So that, when she says civic engagement, that's what she's asking for. Your monthly meetings that we have with you guys, things like that. Do you want them to come to the dais to talk, or are they okay at their seat?
You're fine where you are. We can hear you just fine.
I have a question for Shelley, if you got a quick moment. You mentioned, can you take the slide back up one? There we go. You mentioned on the right-hand side for me, ensure the city remains in compliance. Is there anything, I know Robbie spent a lot of time last couple of years getting the audits caught up and what have you, is obviously you're always working on that, but is there a particular subject or a compliance issue where you found that we're quite behind on? Is there any particular item that needs some special attention that you're going to focus on this year?
So we're behind on our codifications, which that means on the website there are ordinances that have been updated and not codified yet. So I've sent all of those in. They are currently working on the codification now. That is one thing that affects every department. So if they come in for a permit and it has the wrong amount, because that's what the ordinance online says, that can affect Kimberly and her staff. So we're just, that's one of the biggest struggles and focuses that we had, were to try to get that updated. And then we'll start going through the ordinances and to make sure there's no conflicts, or things aren't outdated, or the law hasn't changed on us and we haven't changed our ordinance. So the ordinances mainly affect all departments as well as the public too.
Okay.
And,
Thank
and
you.
that's something Shelley's office inherited.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I'd heard a little bit about that, and I know you guys were kind of digging out of that problem. If you had your best guess, do you think we can get that codification caught up this year, or?
Oh,
Or-
yes, I have spoken to the owner of the company a couple times. I see him at different conferences, and they are working on it right now.
Okay, it sounds like your office has a good focus on an understanding of where the critical issues are and what have you. Thank you.
Human resources.
So with human resources, my job, of course, revolves around the employees. I work for their entire employee life cycle, from posting jobs to applications to hiring while they're employed and once they leave the city. That also includes, like, once they retire, I do take care of the retirees' insurance and all that. I also coordinate absences and leaves, so if they need to be on FMLA, if they're having issues and need to be out, or they need ADA compliance, things like that. I work with all our HR vendors to make sure that we have the programs and the things that we need, including the insurance vendors. I also work on city employee policies to make sure we're staying in compliance with all the federal and state laws, including FLSA, Equal Employment Opportunity, Title VII, ADA, all of those things, and make sure that our policies line up with those. I work with employee engagement. I help with the performance assessments as well as engagement events. You'll see in the little packet that our employee engagement is really high right now, which is great. We've been doing things to bring the people together, to have more of a team instead of just individual employees, and I think we're all doing a very good job of working together on that. I also manage employee files, from keeping active files to helping with HR-related open records requests and retention. I deal with legal issues having to do with equal employment opportunity, unemployment, any employee complaints or investigations. I work and help with all that and coordinate with the legal team as needed. And then, in addition to my HR duties, I also oversee all city insurance. So I make sure that we're getting the renewals done every year. I work with finance on that to make sure that we're where we need to be on renewals and getting those processed, meeting with the insurance vendors and representatives, and I also file claims and make sure those are processed. So, and that includes everything from workman's comp to property and liability, windstorm, and the auto insurance also. So I oversee all of that right now. Next slide, please. My current work plan, we are in our third year of using Bamboo HR. I think it has really helped human resources be able to process paperwork better, make sure that required paperwork is getting signed and being able to track all that. It also helps with our applicant tracking. It allows our department heads to see their own applications instead of me having to forward everything to them. So that's been very helpful, and I think it's going very well. This is our second year with Brinson Benefits handling our insurance for the employees. We just finished our first full year with them. Going through the renewal process was great. They did all the hard work on the backside for us and just came to us with choices and asked what we wanted to do moving forward. And it was a very a good process. They also helped us this year when we kind of got in a situation with our retiree insurance. The company we were with kind of gave us some information that we were not happy with, and Brinson Benefits said, we can help you with that. And they stepped in really on the spur of the moment and helped us take care of that and resolve that situation. This year I'm continuing in working with employee engagement and activities, being more involved in community events. I try to be involved in like the job fairs at the school and things like that. Recruiting, making sure we also are reaching out to, like, we have a website that we contract with that is government jobs. And so it puts our job postings all over the US instead of just locally. And we've had some good, they don't apply on there, it directs them to us. So from the stats I've got, it looks like we've got good response from that. And then I want to continue HR training. I'm continuing with HR training, staff opportunities. Last year, we were able to offer some training to directors and to managers for HR-related topics. And I want to continue being able to do that. And then it's not on the slide, but we are continuing to monitor our insurance, make sure that we're getting the best renewals for the city and making those choices moving forward, working with our agents. And so I want to continue doing that as we move forward. For this year, our budget needs are, we're really needing someone to hire a full-time person that could be split between human resources as an assistant. This year really kind of showed me what happens when you have a department of one and they're out because of medical issues or surgery. So we're really needing someone there that can be trained to help with daily processes and things like that. But at the same time, we would split that person with finance to be a payroll clerk. Right now, our senior accountant is handling payroll. That limits her time to be able to do other things that finance needs, like helping with grants and audits and things like that. So if we were able to get this person, they would help relieve some of that off of finance and open them up to do the things that they're needing to get done, as well as backing up HR. And then my goals for this year is just kind of continue business as usual like we've been doing, continue with Bamboo HR, Brent's benefits, continue with our employee engagement and recruitment and training and insurance, and make sure that we're staying on track and keeping all that up to date and going.
I'd like to jump in on that for her, for the position that she's asking for. This coming year, we're gonna ask for your guys' permission to reclassify an existing position. We have one that hasn't been filled in quite some time, and we're doing okay without it. So we think that moving it into this position is gonna be the best bang for our buck. So you'll see that coming up in the budget later, but I told Casey to leave it on here because it is a need that Casey and Robbie have, we've discussed. We think it was one of our highest needs prioritized among staff, but we have already found a solution for that and we'll be taking care of it.
I've got a question for Casey, is now a good time? I know last year, I'm trying to remember, like when you were considering moving over to Brinson and you made a couple of comments on them. Is there anything going on since we're, first, second year with them, still fairly new? Are we doing anything where we're checking and maybe sending out a grading sheet to the employees? Because you'd mentioned all these great, I remember last year in the budget session, they had some things on there that seemed really attractive. I'm looking around the room, everybody's here probably on it. Are we doing anything to get feedback from the employees of, hey, we've been with Brinson for a year or so now. Is there anything they're missing? Is everything working well? Do we do anything like that?
We haven't sent out an official survey. I have seen increased usage of the programs like the Teledoc and the Purple Card. And as it goes on, I'm seeing more and more and more usage of those programs, which is a good sign to me. I do know I have more people coming and going, hey, I called the Purple Card and they really helped me.
Okay.
Because they can not only help with, hey, I lost my card, but hey, the insurance says they're not gonna cover this, why? And so they've been able to really help some of the employees figure out that problem and get it corrected with the insurance. And so I think that has really spoke loudly to the employees that that is there for them. And as I said, like this year with the renewals, our initial renewal came in at like 19%, and they were able to bring it down to like 6% by negotiating with the company and being there on our behalf and being our advocate. And so far, I have seen nothing negative come back.
So it seems like that was you guys recommended them, I guess it was last year, year before, whenever we first started. It seems like trying to look around the room, everybody seems to be happy with it, and I guess it's doing a good job. But thank you for keeping up with that. That was a lot, that was an expense to go with them, and it seems like it's paying off, hopefully,
Yes, sir.
especially not just for the employees, but their families and spouses and kids and everything else. So that's really important. Thank you.
Well, and Councilman, I'm using them currently right now on appeal, and they've been very good, very communicative, and they step in, they contact the insurance company on my behalf, they reach out to to the surgeon, and they emailing, phone calls, everything, and they've been very, very thorough. So I'm very pleased with them. Yes, sir.
That's good to hear. Good choice.
Anything else, Casey? All right, tourism.
Hi there. So the role of the tourism manager is to generate overnight visitors. So we want them to come here, spend their money, enjoy our restaurants. That'll increase our hot tax revenue. So by doing that, we don't have to raise property taxes. So that's always a good idea. So that is accomplished really by marketing Rockport and Fulton as a destination for people to come here for family events, overnight stays, winter Texans, even group travel and meetings. And then other events, we do have a 12-month event calendar, that has some annual events on there that we promote annually as well. So that just helps, manage the visitor center. The chamber actually has the center physically attached to their building, and so they've recently done some upgrades as well. So, and then tracking the performance to make sure that we're spending our money wisely and it's working. So our current work plan, we launched a new website. It really started before I was hired, and now we launched it in October. And it's an ongoing, continuing update. I think it's been a work in progress for a long time, but we're making great strides. So I did, it finds that we have different things that we need to add to the website. There's a lot of things that are already there that are not published yet that you'll see continue to roll out. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the website, I'd love for you to give some feedback. It's visit rockportfulton.com. And so I did list a lot of our marketing here. There's really 3 categories of paid advertising, earned advertising, which is really PR, any kind of TV or PR, that might contact us, city kind of influencers that we use to promote the destination. And then owned advertising, which is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So we were able to accomplish an annual plan and paid advertising plan, print and digital. It saved us some money by being able to do the annual plan. So that enables us to, kind of engage with some one-off things that come our way. San Antonio Magazine called, and we're listed as one of the destinations that San Antonio people like to visit. So we working with them on some things. Louisiana New Orleans Magazine has featuring the Gulf Coast in March. And Rockport was specifically mentioned and featured, so we'll be doing some advertising there too. So we're just promoting year-round tourism. We're continuing to develop our brand and market things as they come. And then really a big focus is meetings. We do have 2 great facilities, the Rockport Conference Center, and then even the Fulton Convention Center, what that gives us the 200 to 300 person up to 550. So to promote people to come here for their events, a board retreat. I mean, I know there are weddings and things like that the Rock does, but really probably the Monday through Thursday business is the biggest challenge for both of those facilities as well as our hotels. So we've created some incentives to encourage people to come during those times. We sponsor a reception for them. We help pay for transportation. One of the biggest concerns is, our airport is in Corpus Christi. So can we help get people here if that were a requirement? And so we're working on the meetings business. There is a plan your meeting page being developed. Should be active this week as well, so that meeting planners can go there and look and see what our facilities look like, see what we offer. I don't advertise the incentives. That's pretty much done on an as-needed basis. But to make people aware, Daryl Meadows from the conference center and I, we went to it's called Destination Southwest, and it's put on by North Star Travel. Basically, they bring in meeting planners, and you have, it's kind of like speed dating. You have time to sit down with them and kind of explain who you are, what you have to offer. But we met with 24 planners, and of those 24, 20 had never heard of Rockport, Texas. So we determined right there we had a big, that's a great opportunity, because we at least educated those 20. People wanted to know where we are, and really basically since Hurricane Harvey, they just hadn't seen an opportunity, and what we have to offer. So that's a big focus for us this year, and we'll focus more next year. I mentioned the annual events, and then we're working on some off-season things, when people are not here. I mean, when people are at home, what are we doing to attract those people, like Winter Texans? Are there other events that people want to attend? So we focus on that as well. The visitor experience is always, if they come and they don't have a great experience, everyone hears about it, but you want them to return. So, we're working with the visitor center there as well to enhance that experience and to drive people there as well. Reporting's a big thing, so, trying to figure out, are we spending our money wisely, does it work? We do have a lot of flexibility in some of the advertising we're doing with online streaming ads and Google, so that if we see it's not working, then we can change it effectively. So this year's budget needs, it'd be great to have a part-time person. That could be even a contract person, but I have contacted the school to see if they have someone I can work with in graphic design that could help us when advertising opportunities come, that, we're not spending hours trying to create an ad, that someone can do that for us. And, partner with someone to help. Right now, I'm sales, marketing, admin, all of those things. So it just depends on the day and hour. So some of the other funds that are needed would be a data partner. So some kind of reporting for analyzing our tourism economic data. Who is our visitor? What do they spend when they come here? What drives them to come here? That kind of thing. Continue to, market us as a meeting destination. We have a lot of partners that are close around us that do advertise on a regular basis. So having money to even put together an annual plan or a 6-month plan. You pay more money for a one-off ad. So if we have a plan that we can put together for the year, it will save us some additional money as well. So we're pursuing some additional advertising opportunities, even in broadcast TV, but our drive markets are big too. San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, New Braunfels. Those are not inexpensive markets to advertise in. I'll just say that. So we did see, Shelley and I attended, along with, I know Parks and Rec did too, the Winter Texan Conference, the Appreciation Day. So we engaged with a lot of people. I asked everyone where they came from. Is this their first time to be here? How did they hear about us? I think that's a big thing. Most of them had heard about us through word of mouth. How did you, my friend comes, so we've come. So, and then there were many that have been here for 5 years or more. So, and like others, just travel and training needed for some conferences to attend and some memberships for destination marketing. And then funding for a PR agency to help us to reach that statewide and even some international market. But the goal is to get the statewide market. Again, to place an ad in like Southern Living is $300,000. So we don't have that kind of budget at this time. We'll grow there. But so if we can have a PR agency in mind, that can help us with that. So the goals for next year, I'm working currently even on the tourism-friendly designation from the governor's office. Shelley and I are working on the hot tax grant policy. A big thing would be a mobile visitor center. It's one thing to drive people to a physical building, but if you have 1,000 people or 8,000 people somewhere, you can create a mobile visitor center and go to the people. That's not a new concept. It's done a lot of other places. So that's just a big goal. Obviously, grow your hot tax, increase our overnight visitation. So that would, most of those things I've just talked about, so we'll continue to work on that as well. I did give you a thing about the CVB, what the responsibilities are in the CVB versus a chamber. That's a continuing education piece, since the chamber has done this for many, many years, and this is a new position for us in the city, and how we're trying to distinguish that. I'm always having to educate people as what the difference is. Welcome signage would be another thing, as people come into town or even in various places around town. Some kind of kiosk group, there's definitely signage available that we can work on.
Thank you.
So-
Maybe three questions. On the meeting aspect that, you said that we're missing out on the business meetings that people traveling here. How many people is it something we can get with the county on the airport to try to bring in people, those that will want to fly in, or versus,
Yep.
because Corpus
Yeah, we
is,
could.
if they're flying into Corpus, they're
Right.
gonna get over here.
Yep, we
Is
can
that
do that.
something, because it's a beautiful airport out there, and there's things to attract those type of businesses. Not everybody's gonna fly here.
Right, but
And then, do we have any idea how many people, you said we missed out on 20 people never even heard of Rockport
Right.
before, or 20,
right, at 20, have those, at least those 24 planners, right?
yeah. So, I feel like we're missing a huge,
Right.
of 24, 20 hadn't heard of it, so that's a pretty,
Right, because we really haven't been advertised in those markets or of where meeting planners are. We did recently just create a LinkedIn page which a lot of planners are on LinkedIn. So we've been promoting that as a destination for meeting planners. And we'll continue to do that as well. And then Texas Meetings and Events Magazine. But then there's others that we can sponsor and even do online, like Texas State Association. It's finding the planners and educating that we're here. Shelley brought in the Texas Municipal Clerks and they're coming here for a meeting, and when they came, they were like, well, you have so much to offer. We were like, yes, we do. It's just getting people aware of that. When the governor's office did the Small Business Summit here last year, I ran into the tourism director at Main Street Coffee on my way there that morning, and we had a conversation. She said, I've never been to Rockport. And then when I got there and met that whole staff, none of the governor's office had been here before.
Wow.
And they were all like, oh, we gotta come back, and we gotta bring our families. Yes.
Please do.
So it's just an awareness thing. People, they know Porpoise, they even know South Padre, but, we're just kind of that hidden gem, you know, that we want people to know we're here. We're working on some other small business, advertising and opportunities, another one with North Star Travel. Daryl and I will go for that as well. I do promote Fulton. She's always welcome to come. She just wasn't able to attend. Those aren't cheap either to attend, but it gives us in front of meeting planners that are specific meeting planners that have a meeting they're looking to host somewhere. And so the next one will be in October in San Antonio, and it's for small meetings. So anyone from 125 people to 200 people, which is really our sweet spot.
Might be a niche, yeah.
So,
Secondly, how much of the stuff, the things that you're, for budget needs, how much of it can be allocated from hot funds versus?
it's all
All
my
hot funds?
budget is from hot funds.
Okay, nothing would be general fund?
Yeah.
Even
Right.
even the part-time person could be
Yeah.
possibly
It
funded?
could go either way.
Okay.
We could do out of hot.
Yeah.
Also, she will have her own meeting, basically. You know, we do one meeting
Yeah.
that's all hot taxes. So those things will
Okay.
be more discussed more in depth. And what we want to pay out of hot taxes and if we are willing to pay anything out of general fund for her needs. But for the most part, it's out of hot, and our hot taxes are up a smidge. So keep your fingers crossed that it stays that way.
And
She's doing a great job.
I love the little snippet about partnering with, collaborating with some of our partners, you know, the school, using,
Yep.
because that gives them real life experience, you know,
Right.
of creating the visuals
Exactly.
and all that stuff.
And they've done some signage, I think, before, so this will give them some digital, you know, exposure too, so. Something online, so, cause I mean, I'm paying a graphic designer $300 or $400 to design an ad. So it would be great to have their support and give them the opportunity.
Awesome, thank you.
Building and development?
Mayor, council, thank you. Building development's separated into three different, budgets. The first one being, the administrative side and the development side. And they basically handle your plats, your rezonings, conditional use permits, and other land development matters. So they're focused on that planning and zoning and then helping to oversee the various aspects of those. They also oversee 4 boards. 2 of those boards are recommending boards that bring recommendations forward to y'all. The other 2 are decision-making boards, such as the building standards and the zoning board of adjustments. So that keeps the staff pretty busy. I think in the annual report that you have a chance to look at that, you'll see those 4 boards met a little bit more than y'all did of those 4 boards combined over the year. For our current work plan, we are, one of the goals we had set this year was to do a new development guide, something new to our city, and that was completed back in October and presented at the State of the City. We also provided copies of it at the Economic Development Summit that was last week, and so that looks really nice, and we're very proud of that. The staff did a wonderful job making that. Our other focus this year is ordinances and getting those, as the city secretary said earlier, getting those codified. Shelley's doing a good job in getting those up to date, what we've currently approved, and getting them codified. But she's also working with IT as well to get Laserfish updated so we can keep all that information together in one place so that we can all utilize it and easily see it and we appreciate that. Those are tools that we can use staff-wise that she's assisting us with, and as she mentioned earlier, that is a focus of hers. On the development side, next page, I apologize.
Can we not have the clicker?
I think it's up there.
It'll work with the PDF, though. It might jump, it'll jump to the top of each page, but it should still work with the PDF.
That's okay. That way we can. Yeah, we'll work on it. So our budget needs this year is the enhancement of our education budget. And you'll see that over in our goals as well. We've seen that we want to increase the certifications in this line department for administration and see if we can't get some additional training for those staff. We also want to update our development guide. Even though we just made it, we realize there's some things missing. We want to include a little bit more information on the impact fees and the floodplain management, things of that nature in that guide, so we want to increase those. We also want to amplify customer service in that department. So we'll be working on some standard operating procedures to make that happen and bring additional customer service more to the surface, and continue to review our ordinances. The inspections department, they do a lot of, this can consist of 3 staff as well, and they review and approve all the building plans. They handle all the permitting, inspections of residential, commercial, and other construction projects before they can issue certificates of occupancy. And they work on a daily basis, not only with the citizens of this community, but the registered contractors. So that's a big ask for that permit tech up front to really, she's there by herself, but she does an awesome job of taking care of the public on a daily basis. And let's see, there we go. Our current work plan, we are trying to institute annual inspections of commercial businesses with our fire code. We're working with Safe Built to make that come to happen. We haven't had that in a while. We also, one of our goals this year was for our new staff member to become certified for a plumbing inspection, and he just accomplished that 2 weeks ago. So we're right on line with making our goals come to fruition this year. We're also looking through ordinances. Some of them that we're focusing on is working without a permit, driveway, sidewalk permitting, and the 50% rule in special flood zones. So our budget needs this year, we do need a part-time permit tech, but when we were looking over, I think our priorities, that was not high on this year's priority, but we wanted to make sure y'all still didn't forget that we have a need for that. And we want to focus on education again. Of the 2 staff members that go out and inspect and do things, we keep them pretty much on their certifications, but we have our permit tech, we want to focus on getting her some additional training and certifications. So we want to make that a priority this year. And we are, again, doing some standard operating procedures and review of ordinances and making customer service a priority. So those will continue. Code enforcement, we currently have 3 staff members, and they are basically the ones that are out making sure that everybody's doing things within their zoning regulations, or making sure that you're not building without a permit, things of that nature. So they're out on the streets every day helping us do that. They're also taking care of your junk vehicles, your tall weeds, if somebody's cutting down trees and they haven't come through and made sure they got a tree permit, checking for those signs, whether off-premise signs or garage sale signs, and making sure that we're not doing things in the wrong zone. So if you're building a business in an R1 zone, things of that nature. So they're helping the department tremendously with that. And then Effective October 1 of 2024, one of our things that this department took on was short-term rentals. And so we are really busy with doing the registration and making sure everybody's complying with those things. The current work plan in this department is basically identifying substandard structures, establishing standard operating procedures, getting some additional knowledge-based training. We have 3 officers right now. One of them has a level 2 and the other 2 have level 1s. So that will eventually, we'll be working on enhancing that. They're updating their ordinances and they're being very active with getting out in the field and taking care of things. We're also continuing to educate the public on the STRs. So the staff are still researching daily. There's still over 100 STRs out there that we can see on the websites that are renting but are not registered with us. So the staff are actively taking care of that and trying to reach out to those individuals and get them in compliance with our goals. And then reminding those that registered last year, hey, you got to register this year and get re-inspected. Those are things that are still ongoing. This one, I want to go straight to the goals. Again, we mentioned getting the Code 2 certifications for our additional officers and making sure we're networking with our SEAT, Code Enforcement Association of Texas, by attending conferences and bringing back ideas for our community. We're working closely with the outside staff and then review possible increases of STR ordinances. In talking to other STR communities with STRs, our fees are kind of low. So we want to do some research and see if there's a need for those fees to be increased. And then switching over to our budget needs is the separation of duties for that code enforcement to focus on code enforcement instead of focusing on short-term rentals. Of the $1.2 million that we took in 24-25 in hotel motel funds, 48% of that was by your 15 hotels. The other 52% of that was brought in by these residents with short-term rentals. And we feel that is taking up a lot of staff time. This code enforcement currently is being paid 25% of that individual's salary from hotel motel, but it's taking up a little bit of everybody's time, and that individual focuses mainly on hotel motel. She does not spend only 25% of her time on that. So of the 555, that's a rough number, about 550 STRs that we have registered here. That's a lot of work because she's got to make sure that they stay on their annual renewals. She's got to do the inspections on an annual basis, and those things are reflected in how it has affected code enforcement. Again, in that annual report that Vanessa provided earlier, you'll see that our numbers in code enforcement have declined. The new violations from 23-24 to 24-25 went down from 128 to 88, whereas the compliance closed cases decreased from 134 to 67. That's a huge decline in code enforcement activity in helping to make sure this community stays safe and secure. And so we feel that a shift of an additional person would help us focus on the city council's mission of growth, health, safety, and physical responsibility. You're wanting to make sure those visitors that the CVB is bringing in are safe. You need those places monitored. You need them to be seen on an annual basis to make sure they're complying with your regulations. And then the fiscal responsibility of taking care of that. So those STR registrations, we feel that between the STR registration fees and the 25% of a salary from hotel motel could be better utilized as a new person that can focus on STR and doing all the reports. I can't tell you how much time she spends researching and tracking down these individuals and making sure that they're staying in compliance. And that would free up code enforcement, all three officers, to be able to focus on, again, your health and safety of your community.
So again, when we get to the hot budget meeting, that's something we'll be asking for in that discussion, to put that sort of person in, under that umbrella. I would like to note that Judy and her group found $100 and some odd thousand in unpaid hotel motel taxes.
Over 120,000.
Over
Yes, ma'am.
$120,000 in hotel motel taxes that we're working on getting collected. And that's just been through their research in this whole short-term rental process. So, they've been doing a fantastic job, and I know that it is a lot of work. So the need is definitely there, but we'll have that discussion on the hotel motel tax meeting.
I've got a quick question before we move on, if we can, without getting too granular on the hot taxes and what have you. I want to make sure, Kimberly, I understood that right. You said 48% of that 1.2 that we received in hot came from hotels, and the remainder was STRs?
Yes, sir.
That's amazing that amount of money is coming out of that. Yes, and I know last couple of years, especially since I got here, that we're focusing more on these STRs, because it was the Wild West there for a while, and sounds like it's still, they got, you said it was about 100 roughly that were not in compliance, and about 500 and some that had registered here recently. So those are very good numbers. And the revenues, I mean, we're all sitting here wondering how we're gonna pay for things and what have you. Did I understand that right?
Yes, sir.
That's an amazing, revenue pathway there. So thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for all of y'all's work on that. Thank you.
And on the renewals are $100 each year unless they're late by 30 days, and then it's 150 again. Okay, okay, thank you.
And I think that last year it was, and I'm gonna use a rough number, 78,000 in registration fees, year one.
Remember when we implemented the software too, we said that the goal was to get the software to pay for a person to manage it. So that's where we are.
Sounds like we're well on our way.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
We have been going just over an hour. We're gonna take a 15-minute break and be back in here at 10:35.
The recording will still be on.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Oh, and they're breaking the room.
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good to see you. Okay. Can I keep for a day?
Sorry, Bob. Hey, happy birthday.
You showed up. Perfect timing.
That was good.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you.
How are you doing? Good to see you. Doing fine, thanks. Timing is everything. Morning.
So you,
Good to see you. Sorry, being tardy. Perfectly all right. We got plenty of
I
time.
was gonna say good morning or
I
afternoon.
know, well, what are we? I don't know what they are.
My clock is going and what have
We've
you.
only got a,
Morning, sir.
How are you?
Good to be here for this office.
I was.
That is. No, I had that. I need it. And I'm sure that it was crossed my desk before about the, but I would have never believed it. It's, because you run the whole hotels.
But we don't have a lot.
Then I did miss something.
no, it's,
Yeah, she just
it's
found it in
what
her
a,
research,
what
yeah.
STR, what,
Yeah, that's just amazing.
Oh, these, oh, yeah. They were somewhere between Tennessee and.
That's what, that's what's nice. Where is
Thank you.
what they're gonna do is, I
Hi, friend. Late to the party.
I know.
Riveting.
Okay. I miss anything good?
It's
the new account is it's in the 90s, I think. They're broken down per project, per each that you have.
Really, it was the one RFQ. Have a broken down by.
I think there's like 7 or 8. Yeah, I would just however many projects. New, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yes, it's all in one.
Yes.
We'll do it over here.
Per project.
I love it. So that we can. I created it. Like for each street, because the way that we broke it down. Saying they clumped them all.
When it was really all.
pass out up
I
there.
was asking him about that when he gave me the PO. I said, does this include the trade-in? So I'm waiting on the trade-in that see, that was what, because when he did, that was why I went ahead and moved it to 160. Yeah, with the trade-in, he said he can't come up with that figure until they actually write me a strike.
Thank you, Casey.
Yeah. But I just wanted to let you know, yeah, so you may have savings on that one. But that was one of the things I
You have
called.
extracurricular handouts? Yes, I was doing real work.
Yeah, where.
I dig through minutes, but you had something here. I looked over at you as you were. I was in the break room and loaded up. Sorry. I always leave my chapstick in my pocket.
I am the red one. The other day I was somebody and he was all up here and
I
I
always have like a mint or piece of gum or
look like I've got a rash.
I did want to take a whole bottle. Like I'll put like Advil,
Yeah.
Pepto. No, I don't want to put it in my pocket or something. Yesterday when I took my shirt off.
You don't get anything.
It's okay. I turn red.
I went to Robbie's and asked her, why did we go over? I was like, well, because
Nervousness just means you care.
he honestly didn't hear you.
I was like, well, can I just not care? 'Cause
Or it can just.
It has a printout and I'm gonna be on my phone like this.
I went on and screenshot just what I needed and maybe just every one of those 3 things.
Like, well, I thought that I was gonna be able to read it, but I'm like, dude, that's like a little split screen, I can't. I'm like, no, I don't think so, I think it's the glare from the, like, yeah. Like, I need the,
Girl, if you put mine on, you'd be going cross
I need the glasses, I need the tick. Shirley, what's the order? Finance? Municipal, I'm after court.
I'm kidding.
IT.
Oh,
It's
IT.
IT court.
I just spoke cord. Billing is after.
Are you getting pre-nervous over there?
Yeah. She said when I texted her yesterday.
He wasn't even listening.
Nothing, Robbie, please. Not add confusion to this.
Gotta go to the potty.
I'll look to see.
sit with it like a joke.
I knew it was. Can I have the controls?
It's been on us.
I can't even get the news to come on. Oh, hand it over here, holy.
10:35 and we're. Robbie?
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, finance. Responsibilities. Responsible for informing and training stakeholders in all aspects of the municipality. Absolutely, that's what we're here for, is training. Works with and through a myriad of consultants, financial advisors, lawyers, elected officials, certified public accountants, grant administrators, insurance agents, state and federal agencies, vendors, and all employees and departments. Works with city manager in preparing, presenting, and administering $60 million budget. All payroll, accounting, AR, and AP are performed in-house. Grant utilization exceeding $1 million per year. We also do all the quarterly financial status reports for all the grants. And so that's an ever-increasing workload as we go along, as we get more and more grants, which is good. It is good, but it also takes up time from an administration standpoint. Any questions on me? Okay. Let's see. Oh, thank you. All right, current work plan. Complete the 2025 audit before the end of March. We're on track for doing that, thankfully. Complete the short study of the water wastewater plan and implement that in the springtime. That's coming up here on the 10th, was when we're gonna have that presentation from Wildan. File 1099s, W-2s, and 1099s on time. Those have been done. Account report on the TERS number 1. The make account has been set up. The fund has been set up. We're expecting to have a deposit for the city side of about, this year, I think of a little over $10,000. And again, that's just for the city's portion right now. So we're getting that in place. And since the city set up the TERS, we're gonna be responsible for, it's kind of like with the CVB, we're gonna be responsible for all of the reporting on that for both the county and the navigation district side, once they come on. So we're gonna be in charge of that for the life of the TERS. Was that 20, I think it's 25 years, if I remember correctly, or longer, whatever it takes. Count and report on CVB and hot funds, which we're doing, and work on finalizing FEMA grants. The FEMA grants and our discussions this week, I can't remember if it was yesterday or day before, that per Tatum, they're looking to wrap that up. FEMA, those have been outstanding a long time. We've had quite a few, the city has quite a few outstanding, but Tatum is looking to get those wrapped up. So those are now on an expedited schedule. They wanted some information on some of the smaller grants They're wanting, they're looking, they wanted, on some of the smaller grants, they were wanting information on those, the percentage completion, they were wanting that information within a week's time. So they're not messing around anymore. So that's something that we're gonna have to get on this year and start getting those cleaned up. Going to 26, 27 budget needs. As Casey was talking about, the splitting the additional staff, assists with grants, TERS, and payroll. That person, that part of the help that person would be dealing with would be helping to relieve Oli she could be focusing on getting some of the grant, helping get some of that grant work wrapped up, also helping with TERS, and they would be taking on as well some of the payroll duties. That would be helping with some of the new hires, some of the child support payments, FSA payments, workers' comp payments, Wells Fargo transfers, TWC reports, things related to payroll. I won't go down the entire list, but everything related to payroll, which there's quite a bit, of course. Funding, the other thing is funding for training and computer setup associated with that position. 26, 27 goals, more cross-functional work and succession planning. And as we talked about, clear FEMA grant backlog from Harvey, as I just discussed. Also, some of the goals is we're also looking at phasing out some of the post-retiree benefits. That would be anybody like from here forward, possibly stopping on offering some of the insurance benefits, having people that are in now leave them, but going forward is not adding people to the roles, because it's expensive. And Brinson recommended that move as well, because it is so expensive, and we are capped 3.5%, and we are wanting to cut expenses and try to be as efficient as possible.
Did he say post-65 retiree
Yes,
insurance?
yes, ma'am.
So if you retire prior to 65, you would still get retiree insurance. This is a proposal. Post-65 is what we're looking to cut. However, everybody that was employed under those terms would still be grandfathered, but anybody new coming in, we would phase that out. That's our proposal.
Yes. So anyone pre-65 could still get on a group plan and not do the Obamacare. Okay, go ahead.
That's very nice, and I appreciate it, and everybody's smiling real nicely at me, though.
You're safe, you're good.
Yes, sir.
A question on that particular, without getting too granular on this, as we review and look at that, and that'll come back in front of us at some point, or is that gonna be just an internal?
Yeah, I think that's a decision that you guys need to vote on. A lot of these things, you'll just see in the line items, because they'll come in that form. And if it's not something you wanna do, you're gonna say, no, you're gonna have to cut that back out.
Yeah.
But something as big as the post-65, stopping those are things that you will need to see and review.
Okay, I know we've done a lot of work the last couple of years on, employee retention and providing a great package and what have you. And although we do need to look at saving dollars everywhere we can, and what have you. So as long as that's gonna come back with some more granular data for us and what have you. Thank you, sir.
Also, as Casey had alluded to earlier, we're moving around our renewal dates for windstorm and health insurance. What we're trying to do is get some of the off-peak times so that we can possibly get better rates on our insurances. We also wanted to thank council for their support of the employees for our insurance that we get and paying the employees portion. We're very appreciative of that support. So really what we've been hearing from a finance standpoint, financially speaking, is that you're not hearing anyone, we're not asking for raises. Basically, what we're asking for is position support, and we're asking really for training monies. Mostly you're hearing about is training, and it's mostly because we're small, and we're getting, you're hearing that we're getting really back on our feet after post Harvey, and we've had a lot of people leave. And that we're getting back on our feet, and we're getting back where we're able to move forward, and that we're wanting, and that we're getting back, we're moving forward, getting, supporting and moving forward. We're serving the citizens of Rockport. And so that's kind of what you're hearing overall, the overall theme. Moving forward with utility billing, produces accurate customer billing. Because if you can't get an accurate meter read, you can't answer a customer's question, and you can't be asking anybody for a payment because you have nothing to stand on. So that's first and foremost, and Jamie and her department do a fantastic job on that. They present the professional voice and face of the city for over 11,000 customers. They coordinate with the city of Corpus Christi Gas on transitioning of the gas sale. This has not been a seamless process, to say the least, but we have done the best that we can. It's of course been on both sides, city of Corpus and Rockport. We both worked very closely together on it. At the end of the day, though, their customers are still our customers, and they're still our neighbors. So we have to work together on this, so I think we're doing the best job that we can with what we got, but we're still in the process. Current work plan for utility billing, continue the gas sale billing transition with the city of Corpus, continue succession planning through training and empowering employees, coordinate with Lamar Volunteer Fire Department, collections. This is, with collections with the city of Corpus Christi, which we're working with Bill Mahaffey on that with the city, and build relationship with the new Republic Services representatives, because Mike Reeves left at the end of last year. He was our previous rep. Budget needs, money for training is what we were talking about. Also looking at doing a utility billing rewrite. And continued succession training for power employees for the goals. And through the billing rewrite, you have usually better informed customers, which helps reduce the number of customer calls coming in, because you want to have your billing where the customers are able to read and understand the bills, and it answers the questions there versus them having to pick up the phone and call in. And then also, hopefully, with the implementation of a water cost pass-through, that will reduce the need of the number of water wastewater studies. That's what the intent is on that. Any questions, please? Okay.
Information technology.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Robert Argersinger, IT Director. I've been with the city for 11, going on 12 years. Been the IT Director for 8 years. And we're tired. We're responsible for every screen, every button, every door, every camera, every microphone that the city uses. And there's only 2 of us. I've been asking for another person for 8 years. This year we hired a contract services company to help with the servers and network. They're also going to help install Laserfish. But we're doing what we can. We're always reactive. we would like to be proactive, but we don't have the manpower to do it. We're working on a cell phone refresh. I keep getting calls asking, when are we gonna do that? And we're working on it. Um, we maintain the fiber, we maintain all the internet connections, every screen, every button, like I said, everything electronic, except for paper shredders. We don't fix that. So we're, what we got? Work plan is to continue fixing what we can as we can. Um, every department has their projects they want us to do also. Laserfish, police department had their new dispatch software last year. And these projects seem to take longer simply because we don't have the people to do it. Let's see what else we got. So what we're asking for is, well, we're gonna need to do we need a network administrator, network systems / cybersecurity. We need a person that can do all that. And we need to do a battery backup refresh on our servers. They're about 12 years old, and I think typical lifespan for them is like 10 years. We've replaced batteries in them, but the electronics need to be replaced as well. And we have 10 of them, and they're about $3,000 a piece. And that's about all I have. Any questions?
I have a question, and Bob, this may not go exactly in your wheelhouse, but I'm sure you may have a comment or two on it. As we've listened to several of the divisions that have presented so far today, and I know I'm going through this in my position that I do in the civilian side where I work. Those of us that have, Robbie mentioned rewriting and looking at correcting some of the language and what have you on our utility bills so they're easier for the residents to read and maybe not call us so much with any questions. Those of us that, and I guess everybody here is certainly sitting at these tables and what have you, if you've got 75 responsibilities in your wheelhouse at whatever it is you do, the utilization of AI, I don't think I want the robot just yet to doing some of the real important stuff, and maybe all of us are the same way. But I'm looking at it in my role in the civilian side is if I've got 75 things I've got to get done every week that are in my wheelhouse, there might be one or two, maybe menial or, maybe rewriting a utility bill, maybe some of the grant writing and things of that nature. Does TML have anything, as AI is exploding all around us? Every one of us here, almost everyone is looking for one or two more employees, and it'd be nice to be able to do all of that. But is there a way or a study we can do in-house and look at, is there something that AI could be doing for our different divisions to handle some of that menial, boring type of stuff and what have you? And I hate to pick on Robbie's example of rewriting a utility bill, but that kind of sounded like something that could help us with, to take some burden off a staff member who could do something much more important. Are we exploring any of that at this point?
So TML has a couple of trainings on integrating AI into our business, our daily business. I don't think any of us have gone to that yet. It's relatively new. I know we all use, or most of us use AI for different tasks to help alleviate and do some of the things that, so just we can do without putting too much brain power in. We can type it into AI and it can spit something out. We haven't developed an AI policy, which we need to do. And we haven't looked more in depth other than writing tasks, searching ideas, things like that. So something we can definitely explore. It's going to be worthwhile for us to go and see what TML is offering and recommending before we dig too deep into that. But we're open to it. Like I said, I think everybody right now is using it on some level for something.
Sure. As we the city's going to continue to expand and grow. We're going to need to hire more people as we go along. But if AI can fill in with some of the boring, less scary stuff. You know, I don't know that we want it doing our payroll or anything like that just yet and all, but as long as it's on the radar, because I think we're gonna continue to see, you know, labor shortfalls with quality trained people and what have you, that maybe that can help us with it. Thank you, appreciate it.
I use it all the time for contracts. I use it all the time. Yes, it helps a lot, but there's always a final look for art and stuff, you know, just from a legal standpoint, but no, I use it
Sure, yeah,
constantly.
I think a
Yes.
lot of us are
Yes.
using it for, you know, writing, you know, we're writing a lengthy, important email or what have, that's kind of a given, but if it could almost be assigned a task, something that we would have hired somebody for, you know, and maybe it can do a couple for each different division and take some of the tedious burden off some of our talented folks and let the computer handle some of that. So as long as we're looking at it, thank you.
Municipal court.
That would be me. And I can't read everything on there, but responsibilities, we input all the Class C citations and complaints from the Rockport PD, Code Enforcement, Animal Control, the RFISD, and citizens. We keep track of cases that need to be placed on court dockets. We submit cases to the prosecutors along with getting any additional materials that they're requesting for trial. Process warrants. Currently, we are behind on about 800 warrants due to me being with another department for a year, and within that year, nothing was issued. So I'm still trying to keep that up. We keep track of jailing rosters and apply credits as needed. Set up payment arrangements, deferrals, driver safety for defendants when they come in or email or call. Update forms, fees, and violations in Encode as necessary. As far as complying with legislative updates, we submit holds on driver's license to Omnibase program each month. We submit convictions to DPS. We produce and submit complaints to the Rockport PD for their officers to sign. I assist judge with court, keeping track of all the paperwork, making changes in the system to the cases, whatever the judge needs me to do. We keep track of purging and expunging cases, as well as purging the files in Laserfish according to the retention policy. And I take care of closing out uncollectible fees that are over 15 years. And I also work with juvenile case managers with the juvenile cases. And as far as the current work plan, we're going to continue with in-person Zoom hearings, continue with video magistrations. I will continue to work on obtaining my level 3 clerk certification. I'm trying to come up with ways that we can become completely electronic files. I don't think we're ever going to be able to be 100% paperless, but I do have a couple of ideas, just depending on how the judges feel about electronic cases. We are installing a judge's packet software, so that should help with as far as getting electronic signatures, and then it automatically saves their documents in their cases instead of, well, we'll have to do it with Laserfish as well, but it'll also be faster for us to look it up that way. I'm updating all the complaints in our system for every charge, as requested by the city prosecutor right now. So there's approximately about 260 complaints that I'm working on, and I'm updating them for the school district as well. And that's about it for right now on my current work plan. And just like everyone else, I'm asking for a part-time employee. and asking for additional budget for training. And I cannot see what that says. And it is not in my.
Look behind you on that screen up there.
Oh my
See if that
God.
helps.
So my goal, making time to visit other courts for my level 3 certification. With that certification, I have to go out and journal other courts and see how they operate. And as also getting additional training for the level 3 certification. I'm hoping to increase the amount of cases being resolved, getting caught up on processing warrants. Looking into additional certifications for our department and additional training opportunities. And that's it.
All right. Any
And
questions?
Brittany, you're up.
One question, Christie, on that.
Yes.
Did we take a part-time or full-time away from, district, or from the municipal courts last year or 2 years?
Oh, so that was another thing I was gonna bring up. So essentially, when I became the administrator, we lost a clerk.
Okay.
Because I'm doing other things now, and I'm still assisting the court clerk as much as I can, but she's overwhelmed.
Okay, I was trying to remember how we
Right.
did that. Is there funding, or can you use funding, for fees and fines to help offset cost of additional clerks? Or does it just go to general fund?
That I'm not sure.
Her fees and fines go into the general fund that she collects.
Well, there's some special revenues, if that's what you're talking
That's
about.
true. Can you
Because
put
we
that
have some
on
special
taxes?
revenue funds as well that I know that we use.
Can
Well,
we
like
pay
the
for?
technology fund?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, yeah,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
do use that for purchasing items, as far as salary or base pay, I don't know if we can take anything from what's, received.
Yeah, I'd have to double check on
Sure
that.
about
I know we can purchase items out of it. I'm not sure
Right.
we can use for salaries.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'd have to double check.
We can look into that, find more information on it, what we're currently spending that money for and if we can use it for that.
Anything else?
I've got another quick question for her. The fees and fines and stuff that you mentioned, that you guys are trying to keep up with and trying to collect and all of that kind of stuff. I had a little bit of experience with that, in the past where, is there any chance that, like our impact fees that didn't get looked at for quite a long time, is there any opportunity to look at those and adjust some of those to help cover providing, some salary dollars for this, assistance that you need? Have we reviewed those, or what kind of regulations, are govern what we can do there?
I don't know about the impact fees.
No,
Well,
no,
no-
no, that's not what he's talking about.
Is there-
Just have your fees, when was the last time we looked at your fees to make sure they're in line with the market?
Well, it's not necessarily the fees that are in line with it, there's a cap on,
Okay, there you go.
yeah, there's a cap for each different charge that we can go up to.
Okay, do you think we're maxed out on every one, or are we in the middle somewhere? Is there any room there to,
Some of them we are maxed out on. We just revised it probably about 7-8 months ago. So we did update every single fine.
okay, so if it's been looked at within 7 or 8 months, that's probably pretty close. Just looking for dollars.
It's not gonna hurt us to give it a look, make sure we're maxed out on all of our capacity and go from there.
Thank you.
Parks in the pool.
Hey, that's me. So Parks and Rec, we have the parks and the pool. We operate with 14 full-time employees on the park staff and then around 40 part-time employees for the pool. We'll start with parks, our responsibilities. Okay, I gotta use this one. We maintain all city parks, the pool, athletic courts and fields, hikes and bike trails, playgrounds, picnic sites, restrooms, rental facilities, freshwater pond, various city-owned sites, and we provide services to the Cultural Arts District and the Aransas Pathways. The department also manages and operates the community pool in addition to administering park concessions and exclusive use agreements. We also present and assist in presenting a variety of programs and special events with the community. Okay, so our current work plan, this year we're gonna identify and promote new activities such as cultural events and other recreational activities. our new park ranger program, we'd like to explore kidfish, birding trail creations, disc golf. We want to work towards increasing parking availability at Memorial Park. There is one of the old parks offices on Maple that has been infested with termites that we'd like to clear out, and that would give an option for more parking in the back area, not to clutter up the front, but a little bit more for maybe trail walkers and dog park users. Plan and implement Rockport Ren Fair. We've been talking about this for a couple of years now. We really want to implement that this year. Bring reused water to Memorial Park. This is the part of that purple pipe project that you guys had given Public Works last year. So we're gonna work with them and decide where we want to put that. Embark on creating a strategic plan for the 40-acre sports complex. Just focusing initially on increasing the open space out there. We have a parks package that we're gonna present to you guys that has some things out there. And then work to develop a new 10-year Parks and Rec master plan. Our budget needs. So we're just asking for investment in parks and equipment. We have a list up there from different projects that park staff either came up with, heard from citizens. These are all interchangeable to what you guys want. We just would like your support. And then that's our goals, is implementing anything that you guys agree to move forward with. Should I do pool? Or do you guys have questions on parks?
I've got a quick question on the park. You mentioned the Purple Pipe project. We funded a portion of that, I guess, the whole thing. So that'll be complete. We will be able to use that reclaimed water.
That's our goal for this year.
Okay, thank you.
In conjunction with Public Works when they're ready to
Okay.
start.
Everything you guys funded this year is part of what their current work plan is. So they have to get that stuff done.
I have a question. I know I've seen you in the last year really try to put more programs out, try to get more rentals. Do you see increase in fees on your budget that you're bringing a lot more dollars in?
As far as parks, we haven't changed any of the rental fees for the pavilion or the athletic field. So the two leagues, we don't charge them actual monies to utilize the facilities. It would be all outside tournaments. We did have a few soccer tournaments that we haven't had in the past, but it's like run through the league. So that's a little bit more money. But as far as our parks department, we saw an increase in rentals at the pool. So they had changed their days to Sunday. They used to open for a couple of hours after church. Now they leave that open for day parties. So the whole Sunday would be filled with just day, like birthday parties, rentals and things like that. Cause otherwise it was just offered in the evening. So kids' parties are now available in the day. So that's really where we saw an increase in revenue is from the pool.
We've had some interest and exploration of charging fees to the youth leagues for the rental of our fields. I know that softball, baseball does in-kind maintenance instead of paying a fee. But if that's something that you guys are interested in, we would want that to come from you, that we should look into that.
At TML, we like to walk around and look at some of the playscapes and splash pads they had. And I know we discussed parks has not been top of the list for a couple of years, and I'd really like to see y'all get some of those things this year for Memorial Park and maybe the 40 acres that's been underutilized since we got it.
Yeah, we all got together and came up with some ideas, but it's eventually just what you guys want. And I know that the playscape is probably number one. We did have a safety inspector come through, and our Memorial Park, we have one actual playscape that has slides, and we had to close that down for 2 weeks. And I have never received more calls or people stopping by because that is the only playscape. We have one more that's located at the pool, but as far as Memorial Park, like that's it. So that's really number one that we're trying to push.
I'd like to see us try to work real hard on getting that for you, especially Memorial Park, 'cause that is one of our highlights for the community.
Yeah, we have more things than the playscapes, but the playscapes is, there for all ages of the kids. We have the climbers, the rocks and things like that, but.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, onto the pool. So I think I messed up. We were supposed to split the department. We kind of run as one, but with two budgets, they wanted me to split it up. So this is just more overview of the pool, but we do manage and operate everything that's over there. It's a year-round pool. Half the time they do split it because the splash pool is not open. They offer classes, swim lessons, let's see. And then I think I talked about everything else. The current work plan for the pool is to continue to seek and secure grants for pool amenities and activities. Number two, we kind of already did that, so we have city employee discounts just for them to get in and utilize our services. I know a couple of the cops have already utilized our swim lessons with our guards. Utilize the abandoned skate park area for other activities. That's kind of what we're looking on now, but we've also put something in the plan for that parks package later on. Utilize the newly constructed cabana on the rental side, so we did add another area for rental to bring in some new revenue. Last year, we kind of had it at the back end of the season, so hopefully this year we'll get more use out of it. We're gonna continue to offer lifeguard classes, 2 lifeguard classes annually, and as well as water safety instructor classes. The pool has gotten more certifications where they're able to host these lifeguard classes and even lifeguard training classes. I believe that was our latest one that we got. And then so for budget needs at the pool, it's the same thing. We have that parks package that has some activities and projects for the pool. And then our goal is just to support whatever you guys pass through.
I know we discussed grants, park grants at one, before. Is that something we can look at doing some more of this year?
Yeah, me and Kimberly,
I'm sorry, I don't want to use grant words, but.
Yeah, we have that on our calendar. We had some interest in a few of the Texas Parks and Wildlife grants, so that's something that we're going after. The pool also goes over grants for swim lessons. I'm not sure if they received it last year, but I know in the past they have. So we get some monies for offering those swim lessons to the kids.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
If I may, Mayor, just to follow up, we cannot use those special revenues for clerks, for municipal, yeah, we can't. Thank you.
Police Department, Chief.
Oh, you're not done?
All right, police department. So we're split up in this 3 different divisions. We have our administration division, our criminal investigations division, and our patrol division, all of which have different budgets. I won't read all of our responsibilities off to you guys, but let's see here. But the police administration, you know, we're responsible for overall support of the entire police department, providing leadership. It's not on there, but we do strongly look for grants. It's grant season right now. As a matter of fact, I brought to you last budget or last council meeting. I have 4 more coming during the next council meeting. We really push for grants for alternative funding for different things that we need to try and keep it out of the local taxpayers. The money's there. The money's already allocated by the state. It makes sense for us to go after it. One of the biggest things that, and we'll go over this here shortly, is actually, let me do this first. The police administration needs. One of the things that we're asking for is the radios, and we've been talking about the radios for 2 or 3 years now. Our current Harris radios are at end of life, and we've been continuously searching for grants to fund our radios, and we've actually received several grants, but it's been small dollars and only replaced maybe 5 radios at a time. And when you look at it, we have 27 sworn officers. Each one of those officers has one in their vehicle and one that they wear on their hip, and they're around $10,000 a piece. And so during the past grants that we could replace maybe 5 of those radios. It's going to take us a really long time doing that year after year after year, and it hasn't even opened up this year yet. The grants for the radios. So we're trying to get this funded. We're trying to get off of our current system that we're on, which is also into life, and get onto a statewide, or at least a partially statewide radio system. We're working closely with TxDOT with those radios. We're gonna try and get onto the TxDOT tower that's out on 12th Street, move it away from the water tower that we've been on for years. And it's it's a great project, but it's expensive. And so we're looking at roughly about $500,000 to replace what we have currently and get onto the TxDOT system. It's called a Gator system. It's large radios. In the state of Texas, you have different radio systems that are housed out of, this particular one is housed out of Austin. There's one housed out of San Antonio that Corpus Christi and a lot of the other agencies are under. We're looking to go under Gators where TxDOT funds themselves the actual core, the actual repeater system. And so if we want to add the core and the repeater system to this $500,000, we can add another $1 million to that. If TxDOT's going to fund that and pay for that, this is the way to go. $500,000 versus 1.5 million sounds a lot better to me. But the radios do need to be replaced. We tried to find alternative funding to fund the whole thing. It's just a short process. Second thing that we're looking for is and I'll do a little backstory on this. We actually, during last year's budget, we were actually able to fund electricity, a water well, and a septic system for a shooting range. We thought we had a portable building locked in from Rockport Fulton ISD, but they found out that they had to sell that through an auction system. They couldn't just sell it directly to us. And so whenever it went to the auction, there's portable building auction, what do you call them? I'm not gonna use the word, but they bought them all up. And so we lost the opportunity to get that portable building that would have been considerably cheaper. But now we're looking at building a 30 by 50 metal building with a restroom in it. We're looking at about $80,000 for that. That's something that we can do all of our training in, where we currently do all of our training in our EOC room, which is difficult to work in that room. But if we had a dedicated training center at the shooting range, we could use it for all kinds of things, as well as when we're out at the range doing range training. Some of our goals for next year, finalize. We have a quartermaster system. We have a person that's responsible for all of our equipment, handing it out, collecting it if somebody happens to leave. Finalizing that system. We're trying to secure funding for the Department Radio project, which we just talked about, and the metal building. For our criminal investigations division, let me go up, sorry. Some of the responsibilities that they do, that basically they investigate crimes, they work with victims, and they work with the prosecutor's office to get people prosecuted. This is what their work plans are. They continue to expand partnerships with neighborhood associations, crime prevention programs, particularly citizen camera registration efforts. And if we can get citizens to share their camera systems that give access to see some of those photographs. So if we have somebody that's walking through a neighborhood and they're burglarizing vehicles, we can get some of that camera footage and hopefully solve a lot of those crimes. So that's a good program. A lot of agencies in the state have that, and it's worked out really well for them. This is very important. Continue our relationship with the Aransas County Attorney's Office and her staff, because if we don't work closely with them, we're not going to get all of our cases prosecuted. We have a good relationship with them, and we want to continue that. Tyler Technologies for our CAD and our RMS system, that's going really good. There's always little hiccups here and there, but that's just about finalized. Obtain redaction and editing software for our public information materials, public information requests. We get requests a lot for open records, and more times than not, we need to redact information that's in that information before we put that out. And so a program like this would help a lot, which is also the AI that you were speaking to earlier, can help out a lot with that. And on that note, a lot of our software, almost all of the software that we use, that we pay for on a yearly basis, already uses AI. Not to bring up license plate readers, but that's AI. Our ticket writers, we can take a picture of the registration. We can take a picture of the driver's license. It auto-populates. That's AI. There's so many different levels of AI out there that's different than just, typing it into to a GPT or something like that. These software programs that are coming out from our vendors, they're already running a lot of that AI. It may be different levels, but it's great stuff, and it's just going to continue from here out. And of course, the CID captain, Captain Gerloff, we don't have a specific SOP for investigations, but he's going to start working on that. They're happy. They don't need anything. So, all right, we're done. You know, in the future, they probably need another detective, and that'll come up in the future, but we're not going to ask for that this year. Our patrol division, this is the heart of what our police department is, and they're the ones that are out there solving the crimes. You know, just the other night, we caught some vehicle burglaries that were running through South Rockport, and it happened in the middle of the night. And so without these guys out on the streets, out there patrolling, stuff like that it's not gonna happen. And we'll speak on that a little bit more here shortly, but yeah, apprehend, arrest, and process offenders, traffic direction. Traffic is what solves crimes. You know, a lot more times than not that it's inadvertent, but you know, officers on the streets working traffic, that's what solves a lot of the crime. So with that being said, we're asking for 5 new patrol officers, and with those 5 new officers comes with uniforms, vehicles, and everything that goes with it. You're all aware that we were awarded the COPS grant for hiring, and it's a great program, but year 1 for 5 officers is going to be expensive for the city. The grant that we have is for year 1, this is and the grant's for 4 officers, and we're asking for 5. For year 1, for salary and fringe benefits is going to be $140,000. That's our match. The federal government is going to pay $210,000 year 1. That's for 4 officers, but we're asking for 5.
That's for all 4.
That's for all 4. But you start adding equipment, vehicles, and all that, we're looking at about $1 million that we're going to need to fund these 5 officers for year 1. Vehicles right now, Jody, tell me if I'm wrong, a completely outfitted police vehicle with cameras, with radars, with radios is about $110,000, $120,000.
Yes, per.
Yeah, and so we'd need 5 of those. That's where the vast majority of this money is going to be. Uniforms, guns, belts, that's small cost, but it's something that's going to need to be provided as well. So we're asking for that. We actually may have something else coming down the pipeline that I can't speak publicly to right now, but we may actually be required to have these officers before long, and there'll be some additional funding to help with that. Hopefully something will come out soon with that. We are 2 officers short right now. We have 2 officers that we are sponsoring in a police academy. We had one just graduate last week. He'll be coming on board shortly. The ones that are in the academy are graduating in May, and then they're going to have another 15 weeks of field training after that. So we're not actually going to have them online for a few more months. On top of that, with the 2 that we're already short, we're actively recruiting. We just hired a gentleman yesterday, day before yesterday, as a matter of fact. We're looking for a couple more licensed officers to pick up. We're recruiting heavily. We went to San Antonio day before yesterday. We had a very successful recruiting program, and these guys are doing really good at that. We're working towards it. So achieve full staffing, expand training opportunities. We have a pretty generous training budget right now. We're sending officers to training constantly, but with us being shorthanded, sometimes that's going to cause overtime issues and shorthandedness on the street. But we're trying to work through that. We're managing it. It's a good program. We also nominate senior lieutenants for advanced leadership training. We're strengthening our officer wellness initiatives by enhancing the 100-mile club, which is where you run 100 miles a month. And I'm waiting for you guys to approve this before I start that program. So I'm looking at October of 26.
You actually run?
I'm waiting for them to approve this before we do that. And actually, I got a couple of grants coming to you guys next week. We'll discuss it during the council meeting, but this is also expanding this officer wellness program, including workout equipment and also, mental health and support for officers that we have on the street. So I'm looking forward to you guys reading that grant. It's probably already in your packet right now if you're interested in it. We're constantly evaluating equipment and technology needs for support, to support operational efficiency and officer safety. And we're also pushing very hard for our community engagement, through outreach programs and events with the community. So we've been real successful for that. We had a good coffee with the cop. We're gonna continue that quarterly throughout the year and for years to come. And we had a very good showing last time and we really enjoyed it. Going back to the officers, just briefly, Rockport has actually an above average, overall crime rate. I'm not sure if y'all are aware of what it is. The national average is roughly 33, per 1,000 to be a victim of a crime. Rockport's at 40 per 1,000. Our violent crime rate is lower than the national average, which is good, but we have a very high property crimes rate. And that's attributed to these guys that we busted last weekend that were going through neighborhoods, burglarizing cars, stealing stuff from Walmart. Those are the kind of crimes that are occurring that are driving up our crime rate. And with these additional officers on the street, we can, like Bob said earlier, we can go from being reactive to being more proactive to help lower this crime rate. And that's one of our goals now, is to lower this crime rate. So.
Chief, I'm sorry, I need a refresher. How much is the city match for 4 officers on the grant?
For 3 years. It's a 3-year program. And so whenever we hire an officer, year one, our part, year one is $140,000. This is for all 4 officers. Year one, $140,000. Year two, $170,000. Year three is roughly $190,000, because the grant requires our match to go up as theirs goes down. Now, this grant goes through September of 2030. So we can hire an officer that will be funded by this grant as late as September of 2027, and we can still get them fully funded throughout the entire part of the grant before it expires in 2030. At the end of the grant process, in 2030, the city obviously, I believe, would choose to keep them on, but the grant will no longer fund them, and we'll have to pick it up 100% at that point. Does that answer your question?
It does, and then the vehicles will be put on a 5-year life plan. So every 5 years, those would come up in the V&E.
Correct.
So you'll get 3 years of grant, 2 years of.
And that's with every one of our vehicles, not just with these
Right.
new, but
Right.
yeah, every vehicle we have is on a 5-year plan.
And so then on year 4, we have to be prepared to fully absorb the cost of everything. So.
Two things, Chief. Did we have, in this year's V&E budget, would any of these vehicles be covered in this year's V&E?
This year, we actually picked up, we got 3 new vehicles this year, and we actually got a 4th vehicle on a grant, but it's gonna be specific for Operation Lone Star. So we have 3 new police vehicles, and are we getting a CID or anything?
1 new CID and 3 patrol units that were from last year's cut B&E.
Yeah, so just to add that.
We should have gotten 5, but we got cut down to 3 plus other things. And those 3 don't have radios, radars, or camera systems for approximate $35,000 per.
Are those going to admin vehicles, or?
No, these are marked police vehicles.
Okay.
And so, yeah, when the vehicles came in, they don't have. They don't have the camera systems and they don't have the radio systems, which are camera systems about $11,000, radios about $10,000. So we're still trying to fund that to get these police vehicles that we're already in possession of, get this equipment put in them.
So would we still need 5 additional vehicles this year?
These are replacement vehicles for what we already have. The 5, if we get these 5 officers funded, that will need to be funded separately.
Gotcha. Second thing, Chief, you didn't speak to it yet, but it's on here, the AEDs for the patrol vehicles.
Yeah, so we're looking at, currently we have all of our supervisors with AEDs. That's not a very smart way to do it because the supervisor may not be there. He may be clear across town. All of our officers, we want to be outfitted with AEDs. These are life-saving devices. We're usually the first ones on scene to a medical event. And if we have an AED, we can save somebody's life with that. So,
I
the
would
police,
see if Councilman Ringo, if she has any contacts that she could help you with on that, because I know in my previous life, we were able to get, either through Physio Control or Phillips, or, they were able to donate AEDs to patrol vehicles, to admin fire vehicles, stuff like that. You know, as we purchased other items, those were kind of gimmies.
yeah, we'll certainly do that.
And so there may be opportunities out there to, good stewards of the community, you know, be it
Yeah.
from the hospital, if they can find something for us, or maybe even Allegiance, if they have one of their vendors, can help out.
Yeah, we'll definitely check with her. But the police profession overall, it's moving towards officers doing a lot of medical, and all of our officers carry tourniquets with them, which in the past that was never a thing. All of our officers are trained in basic CPR, but a lot of our officers have advanced training, TCCC, which is tactical medical training and whatnot. So, yeah, that's just where it's moving, and I'll check with the councilperson Ringo.
Yeah, and, early implementation of an AED is a very good thing usually for the patient, if that's what's necessary.
Absolutely.
So the more that we have around town, the better it can be. And you guys usually, hate to say it, but usually cops are first on scene, but, that's just because they don't do anything else, so they drive around. But no, they're out there, and, so.
Fire station playing dominoes.
Whatever. But no, I think it would be a great thing to, and if we can't find, grants or donations for it, let's try to get some of them out there.
Yeah, and you know, a grant is another opportunity as well. There's a lot of grants out there. We may be topped out on our grants for this grant cycle, but things pop up throughout the year as well.
One last thing on the radios, is that, does that enhance our interoperability with our local, guys, or are we gonna get away, like from, say, our mutual aid partners?
So there's the two radio systems, the ones that Corpus Christi and area agencies have currently is under, I forget the name of it, LCRA, I believe, Lower
Colorado.
Yeah. They're all under that. We're looking at getting on with Gators, where TxDOT's gonna fund that. Those two radio systems are looking to hook together to where we will be completely interoperable with them. We work closely with a gentleman with the Rockport Volunteer Fire Department. He's very intelligent with radios. He's able to program. As a matter of fact, next Wednesday, he's installing a new repeater into the TxDOT tower to where we're gonna have access to that, and we will be fully P25 compliant, fully interoperable with all of these other agencies just with that system alone.
Do we have to buy anything for would there be any changes to dispatch and consoles, or?
Lee can speak to that here shortly, but she's actually working with, is it VCS?
VCS.
Yeah.
Victoria Communications out of Victoria.
Yeah,
Motorola.
she's working with them currently, for them to look at her system. Our radio systems will be fine, but we're looking at her actual stations that she has in her comm center to make sure that it's all gonna work fine. We're in the middle of that currently right now.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
I have one question. The radio process that you were speaking about a moment ago, that's the same one where we got very close to funding last year and whatever. So not a great deal's changed there. It's still fairly, it's needed, but it's a high dollar amount. And
Yeah,
whatever. But it is the one we talked about last year.
It's the one we talked about last year, and I'll tell you why I pulled that from consideration last year is because we were in talks with TxDOT at the time, and now I can tell you that TxDOT is gonna fund those repeater systems for our radio system.
It seemed successful to a good idea to pull that, and we got what we were looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
The only other thing I can think of is it went back to you speaking about, you know, as we have folks retire out and as we increase the size of the force, we're gonna need to continue doing what you're doing now. you know, talking to the folks coming out of the academy, the young folks coming out of there, as well as attracting folks that are already in the field, and you know, listening to the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the tourism folks there a little while ago talking about, you know, this is how we represent Rockport and all the great things, and some folks that had found out a little bit about us and go, wow, I mean, it's great, I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know if it'd be worth maybe you working with them, if you're not already, putting together a package when you're speaking to, again, either someone coming out of the academy or someone that is considering. I mean, if they're living in an area, I don't want to name any particular place, but that doesn't have a beach and doesn't have all the wonderful things we have here, you know, it sure would be an exciting opportunity for their family to move out here and work with a good force and then have all the wonderful things that we have here. I don't know if it just seemed like a good idea to maybe have that package together to something that they can take home and show the family. Go, hey, I'm thinking about going to work here. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
I don't know, just kind of came, she's done so much work on promoting us and pictures of the beach and all the wonderful things we have. And as you search the state and other states for folks to join the force, maybe she can give you some information there to put a really pretty package together.
Councilperson Anderson, I can guarantee you that we will probably take everything that we can from her and utilize it for recruiting, so, if we aren't already.
And pictures of the fishing, the dolphins, and all the things we have.
If she sees some of her photographs or whatever on our website, just let it go.
Perfect. Great, thank you.
Anything else?
And Chief, if I may, and Jody, what's the lead time on those vehicles, please, to further complicate things?
Well, there's a couple of options, actually. There are one option where we order the vehicles and then they are built per order. I have come across another option where we can buy units that did not sell in the previous year that are already rigged up and delivered as soon as money is delivered.
And that's actually what we
And at a
did.
discount.
We actually did that this year for the 3 vehicles that we were talking about. The company says, yeah, I have these 2024s that are sitting on my lot right now. They're ready to go. Or I can build you some brand new 25s. The 24s are already brand new and we save
$14,000 per unit.
Yeah, $14,000 a vehicle just by getting a vehicle that's 1 year older with 12 miles on it. So we're looking to save money that way.
That option has been presented again.
Good job.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Another choice to make.
And those come completely outfitted?
No radio, no radar, and no camera system.
No,
Just like the ones I have in the lot.
And these vehicles also have new striping. If you want to drive by the Jody's lot out there,
I have
you
them
can
on
see the new
display,
vehicles.
quote unquote.
So are we waiting on funding for the lights or for the radio cameras?
Currently, right now, I don't want to say Jody's been directed, but we've had discussions to pull old stuff from other vehicles that's not end of life and transfer it from one vehicle to the other vehicle, which is very tedious work.
And ultimately, I would really love to have new radios and cameras in a brand new truck, rather those that have been handled 3-4 times already, installing, extalling, and reinstalling. You know, the more you touch a piece of electronics, the more chances there's gonna be a complication. Oftentimes not, but, you know, we are reusing used equipment already.
We just don't have a choice this year since they didn't come with the equipment, so really the only thing we can do is pull from these old vehicles and move it over. Yeah, we do have a grant that you guys will see that also covers some of these grants, but we're simply just asking you guys for us to be able to apply for it. The chances of us getting that grant will be several months down the line.
Anyone else?
I hate to see us have new vehicles sitting over there in the lot and not being utilized. But I also understand Jody's issues of, you got the money to buy the new stuff and let's cannibalize some of the older stuff. But again, cannibalizing old stuff that's been touched 3, 4, 5 times already, to put it in a brand new car is not always the best either, so.
We'll get it done. You know, Jody hired a new guy recently, with him taking over the boss position. But the new guy's also, he's uneducated on a lot of this stuff, so it's just a slow process.
He's young and he's learning. He's a good guy and he's working well and he's learning lots and I have great hopes. So, as time progresses and other projects finish up, time could be reallotted and maybe things will even out and speed up a little bit, but work in progress, as they say. We have a lot of things going on and a lot of departments. It's been a year.
No, we utilized, EVT, for, some of the fire vehicles they were out of South Houston, I believe. But it was all buy board stuff and the vehicles came, you know, turnkey. I just don't know. And that was the Siddons Martin group.
Motorola's, talking about using, Motorola has it proprietary where they sell it, they install it, and then we can own it. We can't touch it. And same thing with the rig ups. Either place that we have bought from, they're not allowed to install the Motorola equipment.
And Motorola equipment is radios and camera system.
Well, one last quick question to kind of expand on what Brad said. Jody, you have 3 vehicles sitting over there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're working on a possibility for a grant on some cameras and what have you, but, I mean, you'll get those out. They're not gonna sit there till summertime or anything like that, are they? Or, cause I'd like to not have that happen if we gotta come up with some funding.
We're going to, at this point, we're evacuating used equipment for vehicles that are going away, that these 3 replaced. We're taking the equipment from that in preparations to install into the new trucks.
I just didn't want you to wait some horrendous, you know.
No. It's a tedious process. Strip from one, install it in another one, and they're gonna make that happen, but it is a slow process. And like we said earlier, we got these vehicles a lot faster than what we always, it's always been, we order a vehicle, they build it, we get it 8 months later. These, we ordered it and we had it within a month and a half. And so, with that being said, yeah, the vehicles came in much faster than what we were.
Okay, which is good, and I just didn't want to, I wanted the team to get just like Brad was mentioning, as quickly as possible, and if there's anything we can do to make that happen, without waiting for some grant that might happen, you know, and what, listen, you know, certainly want the team to get them quickly.
Call BCS
I mean, we can
and have
go
them
get,
come
we can,
install.
yeah.
Public Safety Communications.
Excuse me, Mayor, our lunch is here, if everybody would like to, if you want to break for lunch. And then my question to you guys is, do you want to eat on the dais and keep going, or would you like to actually break for lunch?
Let's go back there and eat, because it'll be awkward for them in here. We will come back at 12:45.
I got the new one.
So you said it's pretty much whatever coming up?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, usually that's right. You won't pick it up till this.
You know, this week is over.
I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all doing all this. It's a good information. Check it out.
Get like we would in the fall.
Visit rockportfulton.com. Visit
No, we
You
got,
guys have a
we
lot
got
of
work
work
to
to
do.
do. Okay. Is it similar to the chambers? If you just did a
Good to know.
No, I'm just saying, don't,
It'll pop up.
like, those are the things that Vanessa wants to hear. She said it right at the beginning, you're not hurting anybody.
So, but yeah, I don't have a problem. I'll stay interactive. I mean, I'll let y'all do your presentations
No,
today.
no, no. I mean, in a different
right?
setting, it doesn't have to.
So you don't want me like during the meeting?
You can,
I'll tell you yes on there.
but no, you don't.
Just like, well, you're right, before you run away, that'd be fine.
That's why we're not here.
Is there anything on
We're mixed in. But as far as like individual questions.
Yeah, we're good. We don't have.
We don't have anything.
It's a make that.
Yes, sir.
most everything, and then we put just like a few goodies on there that work. But we can order them with everything.
That's the thing. Not anybody that is installing the Motorola.
Okay, check out the website. Yeah, you're welcome.
Motorola camera system that we've gone to, and the Motorola radio that they've gone to, Motorola has locked down. We can order them with the radar pre-installed, but the other two items.
Sometimes, I mean, if you have the staff, plenty of time to do this, and you're coming to do that, that's great. Order them, and I know that's an increased cost, but if we can order them pre-installed, sometimes there's good, you know, and things like that can take some headache off of your plate, you know. You know,
The Motorola proprietary system, and, you know, whenever we're able to buy the system, we call BCS.
Close enough to 12:45. Oh, now it's 2:05 in the morning. Oh. It's close enough to 12:45. We will start back, and it is Public Safety Communications turn.
Mayor and council, thank you. Thank you for your time. I don't have the clicker, but I only have a couple of slides. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Thank you. So Public Safety Communications, as you all know, we're kind of our own entity agency within the building of the Public Safety Center with the police department on one side, the sheriff's office on the other side. 12 full-time employees, that includes me, 2 part-time employees. The reason why we maintained the 2 part-time employee statuses is because they were former comms officers, and one of them, of course, works with the police department. Vanessa, congratulations, she just had her baby. Our other Vanessa, she had her baby, but she works part-time with us, full-time at the PD. And then Valerie Stribling was with us for a number of years. She's full-time in Ingleside, but part-time with us, and that really does help with our turnover. And so I will say that we have not added a full-time position to Public Safety Communications since 2004, over 24 years ago, 22 years ago, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do my math here. When we moved into the building, 2004, we moved into the building, we added 1 position to make 12. And I'm not asking for a full-time position because every year I have to ask for extra money to take care of the overtime deficit because of our turnover. We continue to have a turnover. We've had an extreme turnover for the last 2 years. A lot of places are seeing that, including law enforcement. As the chief mentioned, the sheriff's office is dealing with it. I've checked with colleagues around the coastal band, and same thing. The job is becoming more hectic, more stressful. There is, the shift work has a lot to do with it. Some people can do it forever, and then, other people do it for 2, 4, 6 months and say, I can't do that. So our turnover continues to be what it is. We have a really good staff right now. I'm real happy with where we're at. In fact, one of our goals is to keep working on dynamic teamwork within the division. We've learned from some bad experiences and some past mistakes and such like that, and so we're moving forward in a positive manner with who we have and what we're doing. And I appreciate the support from Boss Vanessa, and, as well as the other department heads and leaders that help us. And I wanted to follow up real quick regarding Chief Anderson's, the radio project. And so next week, the equipment from the service center on the bypass will be moved over to the Texas Tower. So the work at the console, so we currently have that radio frequency, and Mayor, as you know, that's our old PD VHF channel, so it has been upgraded to P25, making it digital encrypted, which is a benefit for the interop purposes and for privacy, for law enforcement privacy. So we have that channel, but on the console side, I'm not sure what the cost is gonna be like, and so Victoria Communications is gonna come and meet with me next week to go over that. I don't expect it to be I don't expect it to be a large quote as far as what the cost would be. We already have the channel, but of course, we're gonna have to update the frequency because going P25 has been updated. So I don't have a budget for that. The radio positions and the consoles and the equipment in the back room of the Public Safety Center belongs to the county because the sheriff paid for that, whatever he did his infrastructure rebuild after the hurricane. So, and as a reminder, the city solely funded the backup comm center that's at the service center. That entire radio background base, but I'm not sure what the cost will be. However, as soon as I find out, I'll be coordinating with Chief Anderson to see what kind of budget we have for that currently, and then we'll move forward. So I just wanted to share that quickly regarding the radio project. So as you know, Public Safety Communications is the primary public safety answering point for Aransas County, including the city of Rockport, town of Fulton. The Communications Center manages approximately 39,000 calls for service annually. When I say calls for service annually, we dispatch for 12 agencies. You know, our primary agencies we dispatch for are law enforcement, EMS, and fire services. But we do dispatch, we include our city street department and our utilities department. We dispatch them daily. In TxDOT, we dispatch them daily. But the main calls for service are law, EMS, and fire. So that's about 100 calls dispatched daily, including 19,000 911 emergency calls and close to 50,000 non-emergency administrative calls. So regarding that extensive number of 911 calls, 50 to 60 to 70 a day, probably 3/4 of those are accidental dials, pocket dials, and non-life-threatening situations. They just didn't know what other number to call, so they've called 911. So we do have 4 911 positions, and those, any call can be answered at those with 4 911 lines, but a lot of those calls are not life-threatening calls that come in. And then the 50,000 plus non-emergency administrative calls, those are the calls that come in that they want to talk to the sheriff, they want to follow up with an investigator, they want a copy of their report. What's the number to City Hall? When's the fireworks? Or something as minor as, they got home and their mailbox was vandalized. So that's the administrative non-emergency calls, and we have 6 of those phone lines, and that includes animal control because we take and dispatch Aransas County Animal Care Services calls for service as well. The current work plan, along with, of course, the 24/7 operations of the Communications Center, thank you, is just to maintain, develop a full staff of 12 and maintain that to eliminate the extreme overtime that we have. And so we've increased our training program. Our training program used to be 2 to 3 months for a new comms officer, and we've increased that to 4 to 5 months now. The workload is more extreme. There's a lot more demands from public safety. There's a lot more demands from law enforcement, and rightfully so, due to officer safety because of what we deal with or what they're dealing with on the streets. So our training program has increased. Our training requirements have increased. The mental health, us learning about mental health, not only for our comms officers, but those calls that we receive on the phone and what the officers deal with, dispatching medical services, dispatching fire services. So the work and the job description and the workload has increased, and I think we'll continue to see that happening. So maintaining that position, you either can do the work or you can't do the work, and so that has a lot to do with the turnover. Our needs for, the budget needs for 26-27, there's no request. Thank you, Shelley. And then our goals, maintain strong and positive staffing level to increase our training opportunities, provide professional and appropriate response and resources to citizens and first responders, and then improve essential skills for our staff: communication, problem solving, customer service, effective multitasking, and dynamic teamwork. And then that goes along with improving our interpersonal skills with all the departments that we work for. I was just telling Ryan on our break that anytime we call the service center or the one of the street departments to go do something major or minor, there's no questions asked. I mean, they immediately respond, immediately go to it. So we're just very fortunate that we have those kind of relationships with all the departments that we work for. So I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Questions?
Lee, on the turnover, is any of it monetary? Or are we leaving for monetary
No.
reasons?
No,
Okay.
fortunately for us and our city, with the work that we have done in increasing the salary and our great benefits, it hasn't been monetary. That hasn't been an issue for us in probably 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
So we're very fortunate there. Thank you for asking.
I mean, I was wondering with the last study, the increase in salaries we gave last year or this year, if that was gonna be able to help cut down on any of the overtime. But if you still have the same turnover rates, then no, it won't.
Exactly. Yes, sir. The last few, most specifically, I guess probably in the last 6 to 8 months, we've probably been through 4 new employees that just were not able to master the full job description and we just couldn't maintain, they couldn't maintain employment with us for that reason. And then we did our best to help them find work or, give them time to start looking for another, job somewhere else, look for a position in the city, look for a position in the county. So.
Are we able to poach anybody from our partners?
I did actually, yes.
Good.
So we're very lucky, yes.
Good.
And we have higher pay and nicer benefits, and so she's got a little bit of a commute. She's been with us 6 days, and she's already doing it with her eyes closed, so.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Lee, another quick question for you. I remember last year, you had mentioned in your synopsis like this one that you put together, the overtime. In this presentation, you used the term extreme overtime. I just want to make sure that we're not putting you and your team in a position. Sometimes people like the overtime and glad to get it here and there, and holidays coming and what have you. But if it's putting you in a position where maybe costing you people that are leaving because of the required overtime or what have you, but the term extreme, is it causing a bunch of headaches for you? Is there anything we can do, and what have you on our end, or is it just part of the game? Yours is a very unique group, and with tasks and what have you, but is it?
Sure. And the extreme, I probably should have taken that word out because I did think about it more than once, but it's not extreme as in we're not handling it or managing it, because we are. And they do love the overtime, but my word extreme was because every year I have to ask for an increase in before the end of the year, we've depleted the funds in our overtime budget, and so that's why I use that word. But the majority of the staff is very well for it. And then, of course, myself and my leadership team in comms, it's our responsibility to ensure that not only is it covered 24/7 with 2 or more on duty, but that also they have ample time off. Vacations, we fulfill those. And we don't allow so many days worked in a row. We actually ask for no more than 6 worked days in a row, and then they must take at least a day off. And I say must because a lot of them prefer the overtime, and they know we're short-staffed right now. And their response is, always, that seat has to be filled. So they're available for it. But we ensure that they have the time off that they need for their mental health as well and their personal time off.
Okay, good. It just, like I said, I want to make sure it wasn't putting an overdue burden where it shouldn't be. And it sounds like it is have some positive effects with the folks there.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else? Public Works.
Ready to be bored?
Down as low as you want, Ron.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go through this pretty fast. This is kind of different from the public works side. We're usually asking for a lot of things. You're not gonna see that this year. We're gonna try to deliver projects, that you've already given us, and so we have a full plate, and we realize that, and so that's gonna be our focus overall. You'll see some minor asks, but I'll get those in the other departments. So, Public Works, 37 employees. Admin is Public Works. So everything else, streets, fleet, are different departments. Our admin responsibility is budget management, financial oversight, project coordination, compliance, customer service, interdepartment support, regulatory reporting and documentation. I tell this to Candace all the time, that's the heart and soul of our office. They keep us in line, They keep us, in compliance and they do a very good job of it. So thank you, Candace. She helps, the number one fan right behind me. So, the excitement on his face, you can see how much they really do. So a shout out to that department. Current work plan for admin maintaining city maintenance programs. They got a finger in every one of our programs and we need them. They're a key component of that. You running that one for me? You got it? Budget needs, no CIP, for admin this year. No request. Building maintenance, facility repairs and upgrades and, preventative maintenance programs. That's their responsibility. Take care of our buildings. Our work plan, maintain their buildings, pretty self-explanatory. Budget needs for a building. It says 2 part-time custodial on this. This is an idea. It hasn't been flushed out all the way, but we're looking for additional help. It could be 1 full-time employee. I don't know how, the benefits, and we haven't worked out the numbers, but we think we need a full-time person or a couple of part-time people out here at this facility so we can, maintain and, do a good job at this building since it's brand new. We want to keep it that way. We don't want it to, lack the maintenance. We do a good job out at the service center when that was our prime location, and I think we need to treat this one, the same. So any help we can do, custodial wise, that's what we're requesting on this end.
Ryan, I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
On that for you, 'cause I know you have a long presentation. I'll forget it once you get
No,
through.
you're
the
fine.
pages in. If it's primarily custodial, does it behoove us to look at a third party, just a contractor that has a good reputation that maybe is doing other buildings for us or in the town that could come do just custodial type things?
I believe we looked at that last year, or at some point when we discussed this, we kind of did a cost analysis, and it was gonna be much cheaper for us to have someone on staff, and we would have more flexibility with all our buildings. We certainly can look at it again. And the reason that Ryan put the 2 part-timers is we do feel like it's a full-time job because we do have other buildings besides the service center and, this building. But if we do 2 part-times, then we don't have to pay benefits. And so the cost would be much less. And that was just kind of our brainstorm idea as a group, that might be a good cost savings there. So,
Yeah, definitely. I think this is something we discuss when we start picking, what we want to fund. But the whole main goal is somebody to help out, this building's a little bit unique. They're gonna be in Robbie's office cleaning, they're gonna be in Vanessa's office cleaning. And those are some of the things that, we wanna know those people we want them to be, like, I'd be okay if Annette would come into my office. I'm fine with that. But if I don't know that person, then, that's kind of one thing to manage. So anyways, we can discuss that.
It sounds like you're already looking into it. Thank you. That's good.
Yes, sir. Streets and Drainage Department. Responsibility, street maintenance and repair, drainage, system upkeep, signage installation and replacement, right-of-way maintenance. Their core responsibilities among a million others. Current work plan. This is that main focus, and this will take up the street department for sure, a lot of my time, a lot of Candace's time, her staff, and a lot of the water department too, because planning of big major construction projects, it's a group effort, and we're gonna do a good job on these projects, but this year is what we're gonna focus on. Water Street, Magnolia Street, Market Street, Enterprise, Concho, street drainage, the GLO closeout, RCC drainage, work with Memorial Park, wastewater treatment plant on the purple pipe. We've been tasked to try to finish out the kiosks at the bathrooms here, off of Magnolia Street. And then the planning efforts, for downtown Austin Street, rehab, we need to put together some engineering and stuff for that project. But those are our goals, and that's what we'll be working on, this year. Streets and drainage, we're asking for no CIP. We can't handle another one. Let us finish what we got on our plate. That one, fleet. Responsibilities is, maintenance of city vehicles and equipment, fleet readiness and safety, asset lifecycle management, which is our V&E. Current work plan, we're working on the new fleet building. Go ahead, you
Yes,
can add on as you go too.
We are painting the floor away from moving in, starting to move into our new refab shop building that the bond money paid for to be, rehab. It's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be bigger, cleaner. It's a much better facility in all aspects than what we currently live in. So thank y'all for that. Like I said, we are painting the floor away from starting to move this into a process. Really excited on that.
Yeah, really good news. We're gonna, the budget needs for fleet. You've heard this echo through this room all day, is the V&E. And on this, we're not asking for more money. We have a plan in place. We just wanna implement it. We wanna keep it on track. I know, some years we have to cut and totally understand that. But the importance of it, it just costs more every year that we don't implement the plan we have. Talking with Jody and all the other departments, chief, we just need those vehicles because they help do our job. So just take notice that it's coming from every angle, and that V&E is very important to us. And our goals for the year is to maintain that pretty new building and our current fleet and the fleet that we receive. Wastewater responsibilities, maintenance, wastewater lines and lift stations, system inspections and repairs, overflow prevention, response, regulatory compliance reporting. There's a lot of maintenance. It says maintain all city maintenance programs. But I mean, when we say stuff like that, that's lift stations, that's turning of valves, that's greasing things. That's just, we wanna fund those things. We wanna keep doing that. We wanna touch every moving part in our city so they're reliable and they work when we need them to. The funding, budget needs, we're not asking for anything either in this department. We just want, when those prices of this maintenance goes up, we wanna be able to, if it goes up 10,000 a year, we wanna be able to fluctuate on our line items. And I know we'll get to that some part in this budget cycle, but those will be our request, just to maintain our programs. Same thing with water distribution, responsibilities, operation, maintenance, of water towers, distribution system maintenance, meter installation and service connections, water quality and monitoring and compliance. The current work plan, we want to maintain these programs. Budget needs, no CIP requested for water distribution. We'll still chase grants, and we won't let any of those opportunities go away if we're just not asking it to be funded this year. We want them, our goals is to maintain and distribute superior water to our customers. And that will be the last time I ever not ask for money. Thank you.
All right, any questions for Ryan? Not asking for money.
Thank you for not asking for more.
Welcome.
So what I'm handing out is basically a summary sheet of all the capital asks in the program we just went through, so, we'll talk about these for just a minute. So when I say, if I say something like must do, understand, we're still at your behest, we understand. So what we've done here is we took everything capital that the group gave you, and this is a front and back sheet. We divided it